Hey Lydia, got a moment?
Sure, Shota. What's up?
I see you've been interviewing job applicants over the past few days. I'm interested in hearing about what kinds of skills you think are most in demand these days.
I've been giving a lot of thought to that lately. I actually made a list of skills that I see as vital for succeeding in today's business world. As I put it together, I realized that many skills that were once considered useful or advantageous for job applicants simply aren't anymore.
Can you give me some examples?
Well, in my case, the ability to write in cursive. It's simply irrelevant in the 21st century job market. I used to be quite proud of my elegant handwriting, but lately I hardly ever write anything by hand. My signature is now a messy scrawl, I'm ashamed to admit.
It's much the same with me, actually. My ability to write Chinese characters has gotten steadily worse over the years. That's because, like most of us, I now use a computer or smartphone when I write.
Hey, I couldn't help overhearing your conversation. I've also been thinking about what skill sets job applicants need to bring to the table these days. It seems to me that our education system isn't doing enough to teach listening and questioning skills. I often think back to what one of my high school teachers was fond of saying. If you don't have a question after you listen, you weren't paying attention.
You were lucky to have such a wise teacher, Steve. I'm very much of the same mind. Not being afraid to ask questions is a crucial part of the learning process. It may be a cliché, but there really is no such thing as a stupid question. Only stupid answers.
I couldn't agree more. I'm looking for people who aren't afraid to challenge conventional wisdom and who can think for themselves.
That's why I think American schools should place more emphasis on teaching soft skills, what I like to call 21st century skills.
How would you define 21st century skills?
You'll probably get different answers to that question depending on who you ask and what qualities they're looking for in prospective employees. But three core skill sets come to mind: critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. You've got to have them if you want to get ahead and meet the challenges in today's rapidly changing digitalized business world.
Very true. Everything is in flux. You've got to be on your toes and stay ahead of the curve if you want to succeed.
The rules of the corporate game have changed a lot in the last couple of decades. Having a narrow range of skills tailored to meet the demands of a specific job has become much less important than being able to adapt to changing conditions and be flexible. The main reason for that fundamental shift is the accelerated rate of change in technology and the overall economy.
It certainly is hard to keep up with all the changes that are impacting how we work and live. Back in the days of the baby boomer generation, people entering the workforce placed a premium on stability and security. But such people are becoming increasingly rare.
Yes, members of the 21st century workforce are far more likely to change jobs and their career focus. As you pointed out, Pat, the fast pace of technological and economic change is the biggest factor behind that. But it's also true that the young people now entering the workforce place a higher value on finding happiness and personal fulfillment in their work.
At the same time, many corporate recruiters are frustrated by how hard it is to find job applicants who have the skill sets they're looking for. They're seeking people with good communication skills, who know when and how to take the initiative, and who are able to work as part of a team. That's what we mean when we talk about soft skills.
Getting back to how technology is shaking things up, more companies are automating or outsourcing many routine tasks. The jobs that remain tend to be the kind that demand qualities like critical thinking and empathy. That's where we humans still have an edge over artificial intelligence. For now, at least.
This reminds me of what one of my family's friends told me when he and I were having some beers when I was last in Japan. He's a well-known chef, and he told me how hard it is to pass his skills on to his apprentices. He can teach them the correct way to fillet a fish, slice and dice a carrot or an onion, or cook a soup. But he says the real challenge is to teach them how to work as part of a team, how to solve problems that suddenly come up, and things like common sense and a solid work ethic.
And, of course, there's always the possibility that after he spends time and effort training his apprentices, they may quit if they get a more attractive offer from another restaurant.
That wasn't so common in the past in Japan, but that sense of loyalty is gradually fading away, especially among younger people who are now entering the workforce.
I suppose not even Japan is immune to the forces of change we're talking about. The more I think about the skill sets 21st century workers need, the more I realize just how important critical thinking is. The thing is, how can you gauge a prospective employee's critical thinking ability?
That's a tough one, all right. Employers say that's what they're looking for when they assess job candidates. But they often find it hard to describe exactly what critical thinking entails.
I would say that it means being able to solve problems creatively, to be willing to challenge conventional wisdom, and to not be afraid to make mistakes, and to learn from them.
When you come right down to it, learning is the key, isn't it? The people who succeed aren't necessarily the most talented. The quality that sets them apart from other folks is that they never stop learning. Most of us go through life thinking that our education stopped when we left school. But if you are always trying to increase your knowledge and learn new skills, you'll be well ahead of the pack.